What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locks DFS MLB breakdown video for this Monday, June, 17th. MLB slate. It's going to be a 12-game MLB slate. We're going to be breaking down, going through the pitching options, some of my favorite hitting options. Actually going to go look at quite a few good hitting spots on this slate today. So before we get into that, I wanted to give away the free season pass to a subscriber who has been commenting. That's going to be Trick Shots Gaming this week. Trick Shots Gaming. You could DM us on Twitter at Locks DFS. You could DM me by Hardy on Twitter, and we'll get you set up with that free season pass. And if you haven't yet, your chance to win that free season pass, all you got to do is subscribe and leave a comment, maybe with your favorite home run call, maybe a player you want to play today, a pitcher that I didn't mention in the video, whatever it might be. You can leave in the comments, and we'll try to get to it. And we'll try to get you that free season pass. Of course, we just kind of randomly select one every week. So the more you comment, the better chance you have. I'll just kind of scroll through it and go through them. So, and if you're not subscribing yet at locksdfs.com, be sure to get on that. You'll get our lock sheets, which go through all of our player rankings that we have. A through D, as well as if we consider them cash plays, value plays, GPP plays, as well as our top stacks article and our first look, which is just me going through all the stats I'll be looking at. That kind of help me build my lineups when I'm going through this slate. You also get access to our private Slack chat, which will help members build the lineups as we get closer to lock. So all of that said, be sure to subscribe at locksdfs.com. Check us out. I think it'll help you become a better player. And let's go ahead and get into this 12-game slate. So the pitching options on this slate, as you can see, you've got some of the top pitching options going up against pretty tough matchups, or either that or they are too expensive, like a Mike Soroka type who is 10-5 and doesn't have the K upside of a guy who should be 10-5. He's okay for GPPs, but for cash games, I'm going to be looking further down here. The first guy I'm really looking at in cash games is going to be Kenta Maeda against San Francisco. The Giants coming in with a 3.3 team total against Kenta Maeda. Maeda is a guy who definitely has struggled a bit against left-handed power this year, and they do have a little bit of that on this team. You've got Brandon Belt here. Crawford can hit a few home runs here and there. Yastrzemski doesn't have a ton of power, though. So I feel comfortable about Maeda in this matchup. As you can see, a 5-10 xFIP to lefties. But he's getting a 29.7% K percent to righties. He's going to be facing plenty of them. And, as far as the xFIP, the contact isn't too terrible. I think he'll be able to manage that. He should be getting 100 pitches, and I think the price here against the 3.3 team total on is very, very favorable. Let's go ahead and pull up. One thing I wanted to mention, just looking at the pitch type data against for Maeda, he throws a lot of that fastball. Giants are one of the worst against the fastball. Throws a good amount of that slider. Actually, hit by far his best pitch, and the Giants are about 20th against the slider this year. And then he throws his changeup, which is also a good pitch for him, about 30%. And the Giants are one of the worst as well, actually maybe league worst against the changeup. So pitch type data works out really well for him, and if we're going just on versus right-handed bats or versus right-handed pitching this year, the Giants are carrying at about a 23% rate, if I remember correctly, 23.4% rate. They only have a 79 WRC plus with pretty minimal average power, or plus 157 or .157. So nothing too concerning here for Maeda. I'm surprised he's not getting the ownership that I'd expect. Maybe it will go up later, but I really like that price on Maeda at 9K. The other guy is coming in a little bit more chalky, and that is going to be Danny Duffy. He is coming in as a bit of an underdog at plus 104. However, the Mariner there, he is getting a little bit of reverse line movement going his direction, and the Mariners are missing. Obviously, they traded Edwin Encarnacion the other day. I believe that was 2 days ago, and they also are missing Mitch Haniger with his ruptured testicle. No big deal. So we're looking at a lineup here that has a ton of strikeouts in it, around a 28% K percentage through the entire lineup, especially the bottom of this lineup where you're facing, even at the top we've got Malik and Dan Vogelbach and Kyle Seager. You've got Duffy versus lefties, who is much, much better on lefties. Through his career, his problem has really been the power he gives up to righties. Obviously, you see the xFIP this year versus lefties. Nothing too concerning for me. It's a pretty small sample size. And as you look at the hard hits and fly balls, he's been pretty well in check. But most notably, he has a 25% K rate versus lefties. So you're looking at the lefties like Malix, Vogelbach, Seager, D. Gordon at the bottom lineup. Those are all pretty good at bats that Duffy's going to be getting. And then you've got the righties, which of course now they're missing two really good righties in Edwin and in Mitch Haniger. So you're really looking at Beckham being Beckham and Santana, both solid righties, and both are not going to be easy outs for Duffy. But I believe, if I remember correctly, Beckham. Yeah, okay, never mind. Actually, I thought he was reverse split for some reason. But anyway, both those guys, they've got the two righties. Santana still strikes out at a pretty solid rate versus lefties. In the bottom of this lineup, all these guys strike out a ton. So I think the strikeout upside is totally here for Duffy. It's a pretty good park for pitchers. And like I said, I should also mention that the price is at 7.5K. Very, very reasonable price for a guy who I think can get you 6 strikeouts. I think it's going to be pretty easy for him to reach his value on this slate. And going with a guy like Maeda and Duffy, you're really going to have a ton of money to spend on bats, which is going to be important on the slate, and we're going to talk about that right now. So those are going to be my 2 pitchers on the slate, Maeda and Duffy. There are a few other guys, like Mikolas is getting ownership, not too interested in that. Fires is facing a 3-4 team total for Orioles in a great pitcher's park. He is a little bit interesting, but of course Fires is someone you're not going to be getting a lot of strikeouts from. If you're looking for strikeouts, you're going to be hard-pressed to find him on this slate. People are going to be going with Mikolas. He's 6.4K against Miami. No K upside there. It's just going to be really tough for you to find strikeout upside in a spot that you feel comfortable with today. It might actually be the highest upside K spot might be Patrick Corbin if you're taking out like guys like Castillo and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into the hitters now, which I really am excited to go into the hitters on this slate. The first play I'm going to talk about is going to be targeting Edwin Jackson. Let's close out of some of these tabs and let's go into Edwin Jackson. First of all, Angels are getting a 6-2 team total in a really, really good hitter's park in Toronto. Not only is it a good hitter's park, but the roof is going to be open today. Not that the weather is anything crazy like 80 degrees or anything, like something that we'd be targeting, but it definitely is going to help that the wind is going to be. There's going to be some wind in the park, that should help. And I have no idea why I just went back, but let's go into Edwin Jackson, who is going to be facing the Angels. So 7.36 xFIP. I mean, every time I go into his profile, it's pretty nuts. A lot of 5.64 WOBA, 7.36 xFIP, and a 5.84 home run per 9 to righties. That's pretty bad. 41% fly ball, 42% hard contact. He's also giving up plenty of hard contact to lefties, so don't be scared of them in this matchup. However, I will go through and tell you, I mean, Mike, I think you're going to see, actually, I think it's 100% fine in cash because you're going to have the money to go with the outfield of like Mike Trout, Ohtani, and Justin Upton. I would rank them in order, just Upton at that price. It doesn't make a lot of sense, 3.9K, even coming off injury. That price doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So Upton's probably going to be my cheap home run call of the day. I mean, we can already put him there, and I'll mention it again at the end of the video just so you remember. But so yeah, I mean, Upton, Trout, Ohtani, all very, very good cash plays. I think Calhoun is a good cash play at that price as well. I see no issue going there. Pujols is okay. Nothing too crazy there. La Stella is more of a GPP play for me. Really going to be looking to these 3 in my cash games. And then probably something like, Luke Roy is cheap at catcher. He's something he could be interesting that adds to a stack. Get a little bit of a wraparound. If Edwin Jackson can even make it 2 times through the order, who knows? Dude is absolute garbage. So, all right. So that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about. And then after that, it's really just looking at a few spots on the slate. So the first thing I want to talk about is going to be, not really a spot I want to stack. I'm not going to be stacking against Lance Lynn. It's just, he's as much as he does throw fly balls, his contact is fly ball oriented, and he is pitching in a terrible park with the wind slightly blowing out against an Indians team that has been hitting the ball well recently, like in very recent, like the last series recent. I'm really just looking to take advantage of some of these prices. So Kipnis at 2.7, hitting cleanup. He's a guy who has now shifted his profile to really hit towards power and hit towards fly ball. That's going to be that's going to work really well in this park against Lance Lynn, who pitches to fly balls. Let's just go through Lynn's. See, I mean, Lynn this year, 36% fly ball, 38% hard contact right to lefties. As you can see, the xFIP versus righties is very low, but he still is giving a good amount of hard contact and fly ball. So there's a chance for some home runs there. I believe he's only given up 1 home run to a lefty this year. But if we go back, so he's been doing a lot better on them this year. But if we go back to last year, he really did struggle with these lefties. 5.10 xFIP, and a 36% hard contact rate. You saw the fly balls go way down last year, but so yeah, like even though he has not given up the home runs yet, it doesn't mean he's not going to start doing it. And Kipnis, that price on Kipnis is just too cheap. I think that price on Bauer's multi-position eligibility is very, very cheap as well. He's been hitting the ball very well and hits righties very well. Hits actually both sides very well. So those are some prices I think you can take advantage of on this slate. And the last spot I wanted to mention is going to be right here in the Dodgers. I do think some of these A's make sense as well. Like, I think Chris Davis versus Cashner's a reverse split hitter or pitcher. Chris Davis hits righties very, very well. He's got a great price. Chapman's got a good price of 4.3K. Semion's an okay price. But mostly, I'm really looking at that Chris Davis price. I think that's a really good price on him. But let's go ahead. Let's just. I'm not too interested in stacking. I do think there are some decent one-offs for the A's though. So let's go ahead and get into this Dodgers team. Tyler Beede is a guy who does have a good amount of strikeout stuff. As you can see, let's just go to his career because I believe he only has this year and last year. Sample size is still pretty small, but as you can see, 11K to lefties, 10K to righties. These xFIPs are massive. 5.39 xFIP to righties, 4.99 to lefties. The hard contact, 34% to righties, 39.5 to lefties. The fly ball versus lefties is way down. But when you see these xFIP numbers, something that you could definitely look to target. And the Dodgers are a team where there are some prices on this team that really you can definitely target. So I really like this price decline on Jock. I think he makes a lot of sense. However, he does strike out a lot, so you're really looking to maybe get some one-off power with Jock. Alex Verdugo is a guy who makes a good amount of contact, can hit some doubles. I mean, he's in a good spot against Tyler Beede. Justin Turner, as you saw at those stats with Tyler Beede, plenty of contact, hard contact versus righties. And then Chris Taylor down here, even he's very, very cheap at 3.5K. Someone that I think you can definitely save some money with if you need to pay up for some other bats on this slate. So and then Bellinger and Muncy probably going to be more oriented towards GPPs, just a little bit too expensive for me to be getting to in cash games. So that is going to about wrap it up. But let's, before I do that, get into the home run call. So under 4K, you've got Chris Davis who's 4K, and you've got Justin Upton who's 3.9K. Both those guys make a ton of sense as my home run calls of the day. And as the expensive home run call of the day, I'm going to go with a spot that I did not mention, actually, and it's going to be Juan Soto versus Jake Arrieta. Let's just pull up real quick Jake Arrieta's numbers versus lefties. 10 home runs, 5.76 xFIP, 2.39 home run per 9, 41% hard contact. And as I'm talking about these numbers, I just realized that maybe Soto isn't the best home run call, but I really think that at this price, you should take advantage of him and his power against Arrieta's terrible numbers versus lefties. The other spot I think is obviously a home run call, and I don't even think I should mention it, is obviously going to be just like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. Those guys are great home run calls against Edwin Jackson. But I just wanted to mention someone that maybe I hadn't mentioned before, and I think Soto is a really good spot to maybe get a home run out of, as well as the rest of these Nationals lefties, by the way. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment so you'll have a chance to win that free season pass. Trick Shot Gaming. Be sure to DM us, as I said, to get that free season pass. And again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow for another video. See you guys then.